Chordates include the vertebrates, which are fish, amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals, as well as other two subphyla, the cephalochordates and Chordata or tunicates. Examples of tunicates are marine animals such as green sea squirt and golden sea squirt. An example of cephalochordates is lancelets. Chordates' unifying characteristics are temporary that appear only during embryonic development. The first one is notochord. This provides dorsal, flexible rod that functions as a support. Mostly, the notochord is replaced by bone during development. Next one is dorsal hollow nerve cord. This functions as the basis of nervous system. In some chordates, the nerve cord becomes brain and spinal cord. Pharyngeal gill slits provides channels across the pharynx, muscular structure at the beginning of the digestive tract, to the outside of the body. In some chordates, the slits become gills for oxygen exchange or filter feeding, while in others, the slits disappear during embryonic development. Lastly, muscular tail extends beyond digestive tract. Mostly tail is lost during embryonic development, for example human. All chordates have bilateral symmetry. Tunicates has no segmentation. Most of the organs are enclosed in membrane called epicardium, which shapes tunicates to a single structural form. In contrast, cephalochordates have segmentation, divided into three parts: head, thorax, and abdomen. For digestion, both tunicates and cephalochordates use gill slits as a filter, and thus they have filter feeders. Filter feeders refer to organisms which simply open the mouth and consume any nutrients and water that flow into, while filtering undesirable parts. Cilia on the gill slits draw a current of water into the mouth and through the pharynx, where mucus filters suspended food particles from the water. Both tunicates and cephalochordates have primitive chordate gill, which serves in both respiration and feeding. Chordates have closed circulatory system. Closed circulatory systems have the blood closed at every time within vessels. In this type of system, blood is pumped by a heart through vessels and does not normally fill up body cavities. In tunicates and cephalochordata, capillaries are absent and the blood passes through spaces in the tissues instead. The difference is that in tunicates, blood is propelled by a distinct heart, whereas in cephalochordata, blood is propelled by contraction of blood vessels. The excretion of waste is significantly affected by kidneys, even though other parts of the body, including the gills, play an important role. Tunicates and cephalochordates have a salt content essentially the same as seawater. In contrast, vertebrates have body fluids of low salt content. Both of the two subphyla have dorsal hollow nerve cord for the nervous system. Tunicates have visual organs sensitive to light and sense organs responsive to the direction of gravity, and in cephalochordata, pigments block the light receptors in the nerve cord to detect sudden changes in light intensity. Moreover, cephalochordata has segmentally repeated nerves, whereas tunicate nervous system does not have the segmentally repeated nerves. Tunicates use asexual reproduction method. For instance, they are hermaphrodite, which refers to an organism that possesses both male and female reproductive organs. In contrast, cephalochordata use sexual reproduction method. For instance, lancelets, the most famous type of cephalochordata, have separate sexes. There are equal numbers of males and females in the population, and eggs and sperm are released into the water for fertilization. Tunicate larva moves by using its tails, and cephalochordates move by undulation of its body. Chordates enter into a wide variety of symbiotic relationships and are especially known as hosts for parasites. Evolutionary adaptation. Tunicates largely rely upon the passive defense mechanism, which is afforded by their heavy tunics. And for cephalochordata, lancelets move rapidly through the substrate, and their well-developed locomotor apparatus evolved largely to provide a means of escaping predators. Now I will introduce another phylum called Agnatha. Agnatha is known to be the first vertebrate. Examples are lampreys and hagfish. There are several characteristics that Agnatha has. Agnatha has heavy bony plates that cover up its body, and therefore Agnatha has no fins around its body. The skin of Agnatha has copious small slime glands for the defense mechanism. The slime can clog up enemy fish's gills, which ultimately causes them to die. Next, Agnatha is jawless, which signifies that they use filter feeding mechanism for digestion. Lastly, they do not have paired fins, unlike other ordinary fish. And because Agnatha does not have fins, it uses tail for locomotion. All Agnatha have bilateral symmetry. The bony plates around the skin perform as exoskeleton. Agnatha has minor segments, head, trunk, and tail. Agnatha uses gill for respiration. It has 7 or more of gill pouches. There are branchial arches that support the gill pouches. Agnatha has closed circulatory system. Moreover, in the lamprey heart, the atrium and ventricle are positioned side by side, with the sinus venosus entering the atrium laterally, and there are non-muscular valves that prevent backflow of blood. For excretion, Agnatha uses kidney and gill for excretion just like the chordates do. The major nerve that Agnatha uses is cranial nerves. Cranial nerves are connected to glands or internal organs such as the heart and lungs. The nerves bring information from the sensing organs to the brain, whereas the other cranial nerves control muscles. Agnatha does sexual reproduction. Fertilization is external, which means it is a form of fertilization in which a sperm cell is united with an egg cell external to the body of the female. Moreover, there is no parental care. For locomotion, Agnatha does not have fins, and therefore it uses tail in order to move. Agnathas are known as organisms with little economic and ecological importance. Hagfish, one type of Agnatha, is minor pest of commercial food fisheries of the North Atlantic. But lampreys, because of their parasitic habit, they have been the serious pest of food fisheries in the Great Lakes in North America, where they have reduced the numbers of marine species, for example, lake trouts. The early evolution of Agnathas involved many of the great advances in vertebrate history, such as the development of cellular bone, paired limbs, intricate sensory line systems, dentin-like tissues, complex eye muscle patterns, and the inner ear with 2 semicircular canals.